And I'm glad that the comments have turned to be more positive. That means that those who I'm speaking to, right? You are more of the intellectual group that knows how to think and know how to listen. It's just I know that social media is so dangerous that they get us in our feelings and emotions about things. And it is very, very important. This election is important. I will say that. But it's not as important upon what you do for yourself. Because if we all take that internal savior attitude towards ourselves and we start to master those three planes, spiritual, mental, and physical, right? There's a shift that happens that can never be changed and stopped again. And the goal is to be the generation that can never be oppressed again. Be the generation that can never be tricked again. Be the generation that can never be duped again. Be the generation that is one of the greatest thinkers ever. And we become the utopia that our ancestors dreamed of. Like, I really believe in that now. I don't believe in, we got to wait 20 years for change. We got to wait 100 years for change. Change starts with the generation that decides it is. It's a decision. I know we tired of the world that we live in. You go to the right place and it can shift you, man. When I was in Japan, and I got so much I want to share. I just feel like it was the right place at the right time because there's no amount of books, no amount of social media videos that I can watch, no amount of nothing could have compared to what it was like to actually go there, right? It was a masterclass through experience. I've been developing my master ability to communicate my whole life since I was young. I've been speaking on stages. I was literally bred for this. One of the things that impacted me the most about Japan was their culture. I'm somebody who thinks about how to design things, and I have a whole entire, like, this impacted my lecture that I'm going to be giving, 1122. But the culture there, because once you start to understand, number one, a lot of people don't know the hidden connection between the Japanese and black people. Because you also got to remember when they lost the war, rather, history is told by the victors. So most of our movies are propaganda about the patriotic feeling that they want you to have after a war, right? So you actually don't get so much history that's missing in between. But the Japanese people actually have a very powerful history, right? And how they were able to develop such a ironclad culture. That's not perfect, right? They have a lot of mental illness because a lot of that is about the shame that they get of trying to live up to the standard of perfection, right, in their daily lives. And we have almost the opposite, you know, because we have too much individualism and they have too much group thinking, right? So we know that anytime there's too much of one thing, it develops a sickness. There has to be a balance. And so this new generation is trying to deal with being in a modern world, right? And living by the Bushido, which is basically the samurais or the warriors' way. It's a code because they have a way for everything and a reason for everything. But it's such a well-designed city. Things that in America is so confusing when we see signs and you go across different places and there's not a standard for the beautification of certain areas in the design, but it's created with human beings in mind, right? In America, it's created with profit in mind. That's completely different when you're trying to maximize profit versus you trying to maximize, right, quality of life and human impact and empathy. So in America, capitalism is what has allowed America to build such a vast economy, but it also has destroyed the people and sacrificed the people health and mental health and quality of life and joy. And we talk about America being the number one country, not because the people are healthy, not because the people are smart, not because the people are joyful, not because we're the most technological and scientific people on the planet Earth. No, we're literally talking about how much money and how much military might America has. So it changes even our aspects and ideas around wealth their wealth building process is different than our wealth building process. Theirs is more long term and slow building of wealth and more risk adverse in real estate, stocks, bonds. And, in America, there's a give and take, and you have to understand when sometimes we have something good, it's like a technology. If the technology is not clean, right? The results of that technology produce a side effect reality, and that's the sicknesses that come along with it. It's like we might have a iPhone, but is that also feeding, right, a genocide of people in a coal mine? These are questions that we don't usually ask. We don't think about the side effects of what we do because we don't have a lot of clean technology, and we don't think about our connection to earth like Native American people have historically and indigenous tribes and people. We rob the earth of its minerals and think that it will have no effect on reality and how that affects us, right? And we completely became disconnected. So suicide rates are high in America, mental illnesses are high in America, yet we keep boasting that America is number one, right?